Hello, nerds! Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your Weekend Nerdom television edition for the first week of 2018. Happy New Year. This week for TV news, we're talking about the X-Files, we're talking about Titans, we're talking about Black Mirror. So much stuff is going on in TV, and it's a new year, so there's a lot to talk about. Anyway, before we talk about it all, intro sequence.
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
All right, TV news. So super exciting. X-Files starts on January 3rd. It cannot come faster. It might be, the first episode might have aired by the time this is posted. If it has, we're going to talk about it in the comment section. If it has yet to air, then we're going to talk about it in the comment section when it does. Or we'll talk about the episode next week in the TV news section. But the reason we're bringing it up, aside from the fact that it's just a couple days away, is they've wrapped on production. They're done filming. Everything is in post now. So it's going to be another short season like season 10 was. Not going to be a traditional broadcast season of 20-something episodes. It's going to be like 10 or 12 episodes, I believe. And they keep releasing synopses. They're up to episode 3. We're not going to talk synopses. We're just going to talk about the episodes as they air. So keep tuned to the channel for that. But we're kicking on over to the next bit of news, which comes from the Sci-Fi Channel. Krypton finally has a release date. March 21st, premiere date. March 21st, as in 2-1. March 21st is the premiere date for Krypton. This is not going to be part of the DC Extended Universe necessarily. They keep playing it that all of these shows happen in their own, like, in their own bubble universe. They exist solely by themselves, except for the Berlantiverse, where we have Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, Black Lightning's going to be part of it, the Legends of Tomorrow. Those shows are all the same universe, but Smallville was its own universe, Gotham is its own universe, and Krypton is not going to be any different. So it's an interesting way to do it, because that gives the showrunner and the producers and the writers, directors, so on and so forth, a lot of creative freedom to screw up our favorite characters. Not that any of them have really done that yet, aside from Gotham. But that's kind of, I mean, and I guess Smallville screwed up some villains, but nothing major necessarily. Anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think about the way DC handles their extended universe versus the way Marvel handles their extended universe? Because Marvel's TV shows all are interconnected with the movies and everything. Just because we don't get any crossover stuff with them doesn't mean that they're not, in the same fabric. So definitely let's hit those comments and talk about that. Moving right along, though, we are talking about Titans, and the Titans podcast. I'm pretty sure that's the title of the podcast, not just the content of the podcast. They got word of a new casting call, and the casting call says it's for a villain. And it's male, late 30s to 40s, Caucasian, charismatic, a cult leader attempting to reunite his family. Central role for series finale, recurring guest star, wardrobe, but the role works episode 11 and 12 from the series. Now, this sounds like it could really, it's fairly vague. The code word that they're using is Evan Log is the code character's name. That's not really what the character's name is. But a lot of people are suspecting it's going to be Trigon or maybe Brother Blood. I don't know if it's really going to be either of them. Brother Blood was a cult leader, but he's already appeared in Arrow. So I don't know. That doesn't mean he can't. I mean, if he's already appeared in Arrow, then possibly they would want to keep the same actor, so that might knock it out. But of those two, I would think that's the more probable of them, because it says specifically that it's a Caucasian part, whereas a demon could really be anyone of any race because they're gonna be covered in makeup anyway, right? So, very interesting. This Titans show is definitely ramping up to be something awesome. So hopefully I will be able to watch it, even because it's on the streaming because it's on DC's streaming app. But who knows? I'm gonna try and watch it. If you guys have the DC streaming app, you want to, help out, go over to Patreon and give me $5 and we can talk about it. And then moving on, this is kind of in passing news. Bill Nye Saves the World got a season 2. I just started watching it. I'm 3 episodes in. So far, a little better than season 1. There's a lot less politics in his science. But in the end, whenever he says something stupid, it's like, well, he's not really a scientist. He's just a guy who calls himself a scientist. He doesn't have any sort of degree or anything like. Anyway, it's not bad. The first season was okay up until like the second half, and it was like, oh god, seriously. But so far this one is not bad. I will keep you posted as to the rest of it. And then our last bit of television news for this week is Black Mirror. Black Mirror released season 4 over the weekend. I have watched all 6 episodes. I'm sorry, I misspoke before. It is 6 episodes, not 8 episodes. We're going to do a real quick breakdown of each episode. There's some breaking of form in this season, which I commend them for. One of them worked, one of them I don't feel really did. So we're going to just start at the top. USS Callister is the first episode. It's brilliant. A lot of people are calling it the best episode of the season. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, but it is fantastic. It is wow. Woman wakes up in space where the crew praise their all-knowing, fearless captain. The short breakdowns are super non-specific. Who has used DNA to DNA scans to simulate real people within this game. Jesse Plemons is fantastic as the lead villain. Kristen Milioti is meh as the primary protagonist. The real freaking award in this episode should be to Jimmy Simpson, who is the boss in real life, but in the simulation he is number 2 effectively. He's the second in command is what it seems like, and his performance is amazing. Just great. He's funny when he needs to be. He's serious at the end and pulls it off flawlessly. So definitely episode 1 is one of the better ones, if not the best, for the season. Episode 2 is an episode called Archangel. Their brief synopsis is: after nearly losing her daughter, mother invests in new technology that allows her to keep track of her child. And then that technology becomes outlawed, her child grows up, and things go bad. It's Black Mirror, go figure. I didn't recognize the people in this. So the only kind of casting or crew thing worth mentioning is this one is directed by Jodie Foster, which was very interesting. This is Black Mirror in form. This is exactly what they always do. Super solid. There's nothing wrong with sticking to your formula. This is definitely a formulaic episode that it turns very bad at the end, and that's kind of what we expect, right? It's Black Mirror. Episode 3 is an episode called Crocodile. This one is probably one of my in competition with USS Callister for number 1 as far as I'm concerned with this season. Crocodile: a woman's past comes back to haunt her while another woman travels interviewing people who have seen accidents. That's super tame to what happens. just this is one of the break of forms. This isn't one of them. Hang the DJ was the first breaking of form, or the second breaking of form. Metalhead, yeah. All right, so this isn't break of form. This is also, this is just a little bit more extreme. That's where I was trying to go with that. This is a little more extreme Black Mirror than we've seen in the past. Just the weight of the choices, not necessarily the gore factor, because there's definitely gorier episodes, especially in this season, but it's intense. It's you get done watching this and you can't continue watching. You have to take a break. Legit, I had to stop watching and come back to it the day after. So definitely Crocodile is one of the better episodes in this season. Check it out. The next episode is Hang the DJ. This one is one of the breaking of form episodes we were talking about. A new dating app allows the matched couples to be told how long their relationships will last. That's not entirely accurate. That's what you're led to begin at the beginning of the episode, and at the end of the episode, you realize that it's actually something different. And I'm not going to give that away because it's only been out for a few days, so I don't want to spoil it for you. But this one has a happy ending. Spoiler, kind of, I guess. And that's something that's a break in form for Black Mirror. They don't usually get real happy at the end. They're usually pretty twisted all the way through. Next is Metalhead. This is the other episode where they're kind of breaking form. A woman attempts to survive in a dangerous land full of robotic guard dogs. Shot all in black and white, which is one thing that's different. It's more it's more Twilight Zone than a lot of the other ones. And this one, all right. So the way it breaks in form is they never in other episodes of Black Mirror it's usually a piece of technology that we either abuse or kind of turns on us in a way. This one is a piece of technology that turned on us, but we don't see the turn. We don't see the implementation of this technology, and we don't see the turn. We don't see if it was us that abused it or if it just became sentient and it turned on us. There's nothing of that. We get thrown in after all of that happens, and we're just trying to figure it out the whole time, which is an interesting storytelling device. Not necessarily one I appreciate very much, though. It definitely, you're watching, you're very attentively watching the whole episode because of that. But it was, by the end, it was not as cathartic as basically every other episode of Black Mirror. So, I don't know, to each their own, I guess. Did not appreciate this episode as much as I feel like I could have, especially considering it's like 15 minutes shorter than every other episode, at least 15 minutes shorter than every other episode in the series. So they could have put on a couple of minutes at the beginning and kind of gave us a little bit more context. Words are a thing. They could have given us more context at the beginning, and then it would have felt different. Even just giving us the context of who the people are that we're following would have given you a little bit more catharsis at the end, I think. Anyway, and then episode 6, the final episode in the season, is called Black Museum. Black Mirror, the Black Museum is a quasi-meta episode. There's a lot of Easter eggs from a lot of other episodes, even from other seasons. Black Mirror, the show itself, though, there's a lot of similarities between it and the Twilight Zone, like we talked about, and the Outer Limits, which is kind of a Twilight Zone ripoff. But I mean, there are differences between Twilight Zone and Outer Limits, and there's some parallels between Black Mirror and Outer Limits, and also Tales from the Crypt. This episode is very Tales from the Crypt. Very gory, so when you're walking into this, know that there's a lot of blood and gore in this episode. Really, really cool. Kind of takes their formula and kind of turns it on its head a little bit. Doesn't really change a whole lot, just kind of solidifies it, I guess, is the best way to say that. But super excited to have been able to watch this season. I cannot wait for Netflix to pick up more seasons from Black Mirror. They only bought 12 episodes, so season 3 and season 4 were each 6 episodes long. That's their 12 that they bought. So now there's going to be another bidding war for who gets to do the next season of Black Mirror. Either way, holy crap, watch season 4. It's worth it. All right, between Stranger Things, Dave Chappelle, and Black Mirror, that's worth a Netflix subscription in and of itself. And you've got so much more going on Netflix. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that in the supplemental as well. But that is the end of this week's TV edition. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. www.generallynerdy.net is the website. Go there, find all the things, click on the social media links, and you can find me at the places. Patreon.com/generallynerdy is where you can go to support the things that I am doing here. This is what I do now. I'm this in photography, and I do videos for that as well. So anything you guys can do over on Patreon is awesome. $1 a month is the lowest you can get in, and it's $1. I mean, it's $1. If you can't spare $1 a month, then you're probably as poor as I am, actually. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very, very much. But before you go, I need to remind you that always remember, if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.